It never gets boring, does it? It never gets boring when Aston Villa Football Club turn up at another team's stadium and just exert quality, control, overall brilliance. I loved that performance today. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Fulham, who'd been unbeaten at home this season, who'd beaten Newcastle already at home this season, who beat Arsenal at home last season. They beat Tottenham 3-0 at home last season. A really, really tough place to go. Fulham are riding high in the Premier League. They've had a lot of great results recently. Aston Villa turned up today, and we did exactly what we did at West Ham on the opening day of the season. The players reminded you how good they are. You can sometimes forget it, can't you? My God, I am never ever going to get bored of the fact that Aston Villa are now a club who can go away to Fulham and comfortably take control and win games. It's just what we've been doing for 2 years under Professor Unai Emery. Do you remember like the Villa of old, as we used to describe it? If Villa went to Fulham a few years ago, you'd be like, oh, they'll Fulham. Well, maybe we'll get a goal, but they'll get two. They'll get a free kick. They'll score. Jimmy Bullard will score from 50 yards, or you'll get bloody, I don't know, Brian McBride will get a header from a corner and win it 2-1 late on. We'll score an own goal through Richard Dunn or something. You know, that's what used to happen with Aston Villa. We used to go to places like Fulham away, and we simply did not perform, except for a brief period under Martin O'Neill when away from home we were really strong. Our away form this season, we continue to be unbeaten. Unbeaten. We look quality. And it really reminded me of the West Ham game earlier this season, where I think we turned up and I just think we looked in control. I just think we looked the better team. I think we physically overawed them. And I think that our movement, the positioning, I just don't think Fulham were able to cope with it. Now, what I would say to start off, on a little bit of a negative, it's a 5-star Michelin, it's a Michelin star meal here, but the thing is, there's just something in your dessert where you're like, oh, it's a bit aniseedy. I don't like aniseed. I'm like, oh, not quite for me. And start of that game, Aston Villa do what we continuously do, what we did against Wolves recently, what we did, I think, against Ipswich recently, what we've done a couple of times this season: concede stupid early goals. I mean, it's just a straight old long ball over the top. Raul Jimenez overpowers Pau Torres, and it's just a finish. It's a Sunday League goal. And the problem is that Aston Villa have continuously conceded Sunday League goals early on in games. Now, you always back our attacking players to get us out of trouble. And once again today, they did that. But what you have to say is that if Aston Villa really, really want to be top team, not just a team that is our ambition is top four. Our ambition is to, get far in competitions. No, if we want to be the team that wins the league, wins the Champions League, wins the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, whatever it is, and consistently gets into that top 2, top 3, we have to stop conceding stupid goals. Because eventually there's going to be a game where it does cost us and we can't do anything about it. And fortunately, today was not that day. But yeah, that is definitely something that we have got to solve very soon. That said, I mean, my goodness, Aston Villa, I think that once that goal went in, we got what we needed to do immediately. We struck back. Morgan Rogers. Now, look, I think it was from back to front, a classic Villa goal, ball retention, patience on the ball, work our way up the pitch. Jacob Ramsey coming into a bit of space, that left-hand side where he just gets in between that midfield and that defence, finds the space, gets to turn, darts forward, passes it into Morgan Rogers, and Rogers turns, goes at the player, and lucky deflection. But look, if you don't buy a scratch card, you ain't winning the national lottery, are you? So we did it. We did what I had to do. Great stuff all around. Great to come back, and that's what our attacking players can do. Now, I mentioned Jacob Ramsey there on that left-hand side. I thought Villa's left-hand side today was where it all was coming from. I thought Jacob Ramsey continuously finding space, continuously turning, continuously trying to make things happen. Sometimes a pass would be overhit, but other times they weren't. And it'd be like a ball into Luca Dean or a ball into Morgan Rogers. It really reminded me, that's how excited I am. I'm hitting my pen up in the air. It really reminded me of when Alex Moreno came into Aston Villa, 2 years ago, and that left-hand side with Mings, Ramsey, and Moreno were causing so many problems for opposition teams. And it looked like that again today, but with Dean in the Moreno role. And I thought Dean getting forward again, you know, I think largely excellent. I think there's one or two occasions I do think Matson might be. I think when he starts to get a lot of starts, I think we're going to see how. Um, I think he's just got a little bit more ingenuity. I think going forward, I think Dean tends to just cross generally. He's very good at it. And we got the third goal today came through him getting forward and putting the ball in. But I'm not getting at Luca Dean here. I think he's been excellent this season, defensively brilliant, getting forward has been brilliant. But I just think that there are occasions where I think Matson is just a little bit more. There's a little bit more about him, maybe just in that final third. But that said, I think, as I say, I think Luca Dean was excellent. And I think that there was one occasion as well. I think Ollie Watkins probably has a right to say he's a little bit frustrated that he didn't get more goals today, only because his movement was so good. And there were two occasions where Villa should have found him. One, ball over the top from Diego Carlos, who I thought was excellent today. You know, after criticising him a couple of weeks ago, he's really bounced back in style, hasn't he, with the Bayern, Man United, and Fulham game. Ball over the top from Diego Carlos into the feet of Luca Di Matteo. Great run past the Fulham fullback, and you know Ollie Watkins is running in there now. You know, Unai Emery teams, we do train basically. They've always done this. Villarreal, Sevilla, the left back gets forward and tends to cut it back, and that is cut back centrally is generally the most dangerous way to do things. But I just think on that occasion it was one way he should have found Ollie Watkins. He made a great run at the back post. If he hits it low and hard across the 5 yard box, 6 yard box, I completely forgot what it is. Across the box, Ollie Watkins gets in there and scores. And then in the second half, same thing happened again, actually. Lovely interchange between Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey. And Morgan Rogers gets inside. And if he just hits it low and hard, straight across, instead of cutting it back, Ollie Watkins was there for another goal. So I think Watkins probably should be a little bit frustrated that his teammates didn't find him on two occasions today. But by and large, I think that first half, Villa were really dominant. I think Yuri Tielemans, again, I mean, he's one of the Premier League players of the season. One of the Premier League players of the season so far, easily. Luis Diaz at Liverpool, obviously Erling Haaland at Man City, Yuri Tielemans is up there, Saliba maybe at Arsenal. But no, I think Tielemans has been fantastic. And again, you know, I can't wait to see the stats to this game because it just felt like, as I've said before, all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to Yuri Tielemans. It all goes through him and Anana as well. Just that physical presence. You actually noticed it when he went off. I thought Villa weren't quite as defensively sure when Anana went off because when he was on, he was winning so many challenges. It reminded me of the West Ham performance, winning loads of challenges, but also really good on the ball, making the right pass, and just having his presence there enables Yuri Tielemans to just flourish, doesn't it? And I thought as a pairing, they were superb today. And I think physically overawed Fulham, and I think that they just had too much quality on the ball for Fulham. And I think that, as I say, Morgan Rogers finding that space off Watkins' movement, Luca Dean's movement down the left, and Jacob Ramsey coming around, finding that space, turning and running. It was so good. I'm so happy. I'm so happy because today I found my friends. They're in my head. They're Aston Villa players. Oh my word. Oh my word. You know, I could sit here and write love poetry to Unai Emery. I could sit here and write Unai, you and I ought to hang out. I mean, honestly, Unai, you and I. Oh my goodness, I love the man. I love the man. Now, what would I say again about the first half as well, though? I think I wanted to see a little bit more from Leon Bailey. I thought down the right, Leon Bailey, he's not quite been at it this season. I think that's very fair to say. Last year, obviously, he looked like one of the best attackers in world football consistently. The nature of his role is that as a player who takes somebody on who is very much a moments of magic player, somebody who, you know, makes it miserable for the opposition fullbacks. Sometimes in that role, if you're not beating a man regularly, you can lose your confidence probably quite quickly. He looks a little bit like sometimes it comes off for him, but too often it's like his touch is off. A heavy first touch, or he cuts back instead of going forward, or you just don't quite have much faith in him at the moment. But knowing Bailey, what he'll do is he'll have a little bit of a shaky spell, but then out of nowhere, come on off the bench, half an hour, and he's the best player you've ever seen in your life, and then he'll be back at it. Plenty of games coming for Aston Villa now, so you have to think that he's going to work his way back into form, and he needs to, because at the moment I think he probably looks to me like the only player really who I'm consistently looking at thinking, Diego Carlos was out a few weeks ago. He's managed to work his way back into form. He's playing really well again now. But I look at uh, Leon Bailey at times, and I just think, you're a far better player than this. So come on, get back at it, and I'm sure he will. Sure he will. He's got competition there in Jane and Philogene. Unfortunately for Philogene, he's had 2 great games recently. Yeah, silly boy today getting a red card. It was silly, pushing player in the back. Don't know what he's doing there. It's it's soft, but he didn't have to make. He didn't have to make that foul. So anyway, London is ours, isn't it? London is ours because Ollie Watkins on his 400th senior club appearance, 400 games, bloody hell! Look at him, absolutely rocking, and he's still in his career. Ollie Watkins, what a header! The man just scores goals. The man just scores goals. I thought his movement today was superb. Should have been found twice by Dean and Morgan Rogers. Wasn't. I think his link-up play was good. But then we had multiple corners. Clearly, Austin McPhee and Aston Villa had identified something about Fulham and their inability to mark the front post, maybe. Because Villa, it felt like Tielemans was constantly aiming for that area, and it was building, wasn't it? You felt with the number of corners Villa had today. I mean, we had 11 of them, 11 corners today. So many of them going in there. You felt something was going to come eventually. Eventually, Ollie Watkins pulls back from Emil Smith Rowe. Header. Oh, it was a fantastic header. Brilliant striker play. Oh, what a player he is, Ollie Watkins. He's the man on the back of my shirt. He's on the back of my shirt. Look at that. Look at that. What a player he is. Every time I've worn this shirt, he's scored. We've won every game I've worn it. I'm going to wear this every day of my life now, and it's going to be like I'm going to turn into a winner. Suddenly I'm going to be as rich as Elon Musk and actually invest my money in, positive things. So probably Aston Villa Football Club and, buy a few hotels off ourselves or something like that, like Chelsea did. Anyway, look, but then Watkins again involved Morgan Rogers with a superb pass. Isn't he so gifted, Morgan Rogers? So good again today. What a ball that was into Ollie Watkins through the eye of a needle stuff. Watkins gets to it, and Joachim Anderson fouls him. Watkins' first touch took it across the defender. Learn that in school, kids. If you're getting coached, if you're a striker, take it across the defender because it leaves them in no man's land. They can foul you, all that stuff. Superb stuff. Took him out of the game. And was it a bit harsh? If it was a Villa player, would I be annoyed? Probably, yeah. But at the same time, I think you look at it, you think it was a foul. And I think Villa have been owed a red card because Bayern Munich should have had a red card. Sam Morsey for Ipswich should have had a red card. Marcus Rashford should have had a red card against Villa. That's 3 games in a row Villa should have been against 10 men. And today it happened, didn't it? And Anderson, it was softish, but a bit like Philogene, it was enough that you think, yeah, red card. So look, Villa then just dominant. And the third goal came. Lovely stuff again. I think it was Jacob Ramsey made the pass. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Jacob Ramsey making the pass into Luca Dean, and Dean whips it across. Diop with the own goal. And, the amount of times Luca Dean got into that area, whipped it across, you could feel it was coming. You could feel something was coming from that, and it did. First half, Morgan Rogers should have scored from a ball whipped across from Luca Dean. Other occasions, I think Villa should have done a little bit more in that area. Other than that, I mean, Villa then just, you look at our bench, you look at the players who came on, Philogene, Ross Barkley, John McGinn, amazing to see him back. I didn't think we were going to see him again till November. And what do you know, his big, pert, round, peachy arse appears, and I'm, bloody joyous stuff that was. You see Boubacar Kamara there, you see John Duran obviously coming off the bench. You got Matson on the bench, didn't even come on. Absolutely. This is the strongest Aston Villa squad I've ever seen in my life. I mean, only maybe the early to mid-90s squads can I really think had that much depth. I mean, other than that, I can't think of ever seeing a Villa bench like that and thinking, My God, I mean, even if Villa are struggling, you think we've got the players to come on and just make the difference here in every department, defensively up front. Consi didn't come on. I mean, bloody hell! And with all the sheer volume of games we've got coming up, I mean, you got to think there's going to be we're going to have to rotate so many of these players, and I'm sure Unai Emery is looking forward to using this squad because, wow, real quality there. So yeah, it was a fantastic performance. London is ours. The second city of Birmingham, with the first city, mate. And I tell you, I live in London, obviously, don't I? So and the thing I love doing is when Villa win a game, I like wearing my Villa stuff around where I live, just because I know I think there might be a few of these Cockney gits down here, might they, going like, oh yeah, there he is, that bloody, or Fulham, it'd be a Hugh Grant, wouldn't it? Very, there he is, that very naughty man, very naughty. Maybe I'll go over and give him a good old whack in the head. Well, bring it on, Hugh. Bring it on, Hugh, because Ollie Watkins, I tell you, he's the one who whacked Fulham down today. Super stuff. Fulham, I think Raul Jimenez, top quality striker, isn't he? I love Jimenez. He's so good. So much movement, so much linking up, winning, holding the ball up, scores his goal. I love to see his resurgence as well, given the fact, he had that horrifying injury, stopped scoring goals for a while, and he's really back at it now. But I think Fulham, they've been playing so well this season. They're a strong side. They've got a really good squad. And Villa turned up today and looked like a top class football team. You can't ask for more than that. You forget how good we are sometimes, don't you? But on your next Champions League, do you hear the theme? Play the theme. Please like and subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, you're a Birmingham City fan and you want them to finish above Wrexham this season. Shame on you. Shame on you. Come on, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple, give us 5-star reviews, all that sort of stuff. What a team, what a club, the mighty Villa.